It's all to play for as we enter the final stage of the Champions League group phase. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the full 90, and it's here, week 8 of the Champions League predictions. I just want to say real quick, this is your last chance to enter the $100 giveaway. I will be picking the winner on the 1st of February this Sunday, so anyone that joins the Patreon this week will be entered into the giveaway. And we actually had 6 more winning accumulators on the Patreon yesterday. Here they are on your screen. I'll talk more about that later, but thank you so much for the support on the channel over the last week. We're getting very, very close to 53,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy your football, your predictions, then please do drop a like and subscribe, and when you hit the like button, a football will fly right over it. It's pretty cool. And of course, come back tomorrow for Europa League. But Champions League, let's get straight in to the first fixture. Now, obviously, all of these games are taking place at the exact same time. Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time. This is just the order of fixtures that a lot of bookies and everything have them listed as. So the first game we're going to be talking about is Ajax up against Olympiacos. Now, Ajax could potentially make the greatest escape in, well, Champions League history. They lost 5 games in a row. They were on 0 points, and they could qualify with winning 3 of their last 3 games. And they're coming up against an Olympiacos side who, I suppose, unfortunately for Ajax, really would want to win this one as well. They currently occupy the 24th and final playoff spot. They are on 8 points, so Ajax with a win do leapfrog Olympiacos, but even with a win, there's no guarantee that they do qualify for the playoffs. It depends on other results, and that's why this is going to be such an exciting final day in the Champions League group stage, because as the goals go in, the table's going to be chopping and changing. There'll be a team, I guarantee you this, there'll be a team that is in the playoff spot that then drops out. They might have been in the playoff spot for the whole night, and then they might drop out at the end. There's going to be so many twists and turns, and I cannot wait for it. And honestly, I think Olympiacos are going to be able to just about keep Ajax at bay. Obviously, Ajax know they need a win. Olympiacos would like a win, and I think that massively opens the game up, because a draw doesn't really do Ajax any favours, and as the home side, the onus will be on them to go and get a result. I make Olympiacos slight favourites, as I believe the bookies do as well, so I think it's going to be an open, high-scoring game, and I'm going to settle on a 2-2 draw. The tip is going to be both teams to score at odds of 1.53. After this, we travel to the Emirates for Arsenal up against Almaty. Arsenal just coming off a loss to a very prolific Manchester United, who took some incredible chances, scoring some brilliant goals, handing Arsenal their first loss at the Emirates this season, and also their first loss of the season when going ahead and scoring the first goal. So a great result for United. Arsenal are going to bounce back here with a win and make it 8 wins from 8, and obviously finishing top of the league phase lands them in good stead for getting favourable, not necessarily ties in the knockouts, but they get the home leg for the second leg of every single tie on the way to the final. Arsenal could rotate here. They could play strong here. It doesn't matter. They're going to win quite handsomely. Qarabag, obviously bottom of the Champions League as we predicted. They got battered 4-1 by Club Brugge in the last game week, and that one was a consolation goal as well. So I'm going for an Arsenal 5-0 win, and I'm tipping something that I have never tipped before in my life. In my 7+ years of doing this channel, I've never tipped this exact market, but it's both teams to score no and over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.95. So that's a 3-0 Arsenal win, 4-0, 5-0, or a 3-0 Qarabag win, 4-0, etc. It's just 3-0 and above to either team. Because if you look at the handicap, let's say both teams score no and over 2.5 goals, that could be 3-0 to Arsenal. If you do a -2 handicap for Arsenal, the odds are 1.44. That's so ridiculously low compared to the 1.95 that's being offered here. Do I think Qarabag score? I mean, yeah, maybe they could, but I don't see it. I'm going for a 5-0 win to Arsenal. Also, you can probably tell my voice sounds a bit weird. I am still a bit under the weather. Apologies for that. But we're going to move on now to Athletic Bilbao up against Sporting. Now, Sporting got an incredible win over Paris Saint-Germain. That means if they win this game, they stand a decent chance to finish in the top 8 and an automatic spot. Athletic Bilbao, however, they have something to play for too. They are currently in 23rd place on 8 points. So really, they want to win as well. They are at home, and I fancy Athletic Bilbao as a decent home side. And while Sporting would really like a top 8 spot, it's not the end of the world to finish not only in the playoffs, but right at the top of the playoffs, because then you get a favourable draw. So I think, well, potentially, obviously, if you've got the likes of, like last season, PSG finishing near the bottom, you might get shafted and get a bit of a difficult draw. But either way, I think Athletic Bilbao will be able to get something from this game. Sporting could win, Bilbao could win, and when I think that's the case, I tend to sit on the fence. I'll say a 1-1 draw. The tip is both teams to score at odds of 1.61. After this, it is Atletico Madrid up against Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt on 6 points after battering Manchester City in the previous game week. A very deserved win, a brilliant performance. They need a win here if they're going to stay in the competition. Atletico Madrid are chasing a top 8 finish as well, and I just think Atleti at home are going to be too strong. They got another convincing win, 3-0 over Mallorca at the weekend, winning both halves. I think Atletico Madrid win this one. I'm going to say 3-1 because I think Bodo Glimt are good for a goal. I've got tipped here Atletico Madrid to win at 1.3, but honestly, you could look at over 2.5 goals at higher odds. Atletico Madrid and both teams to score even. I just think Atletico Madrid are going to get the win. After this, we stay in Spain for Barcelona up against FC Copenhagen. Copenhagen managing to get a draw with Napoli despite being down to 10 men. Napoli being 1 goal up, 1 man up, and Copenhagen still scored an equaliser to leave them on 8 points with Napoli just outside those top 24. So a win for Copenhagen pretty much seals their qualification, but Barcelona know that if they win, it seals a top 8 finish for them because they currently sit in 9th, but 6th and 7th, PSG and Newcastle play each other, so one of them has to drop points. So Barcelona will finish in the top 8 with a win here. So obviously, unless they win by, I don't know, 1 goal and then Sporting and Atletico Madrid win by a lot. But basically, it's in Barcelona's hands. They are going to win this game. I'm going to say that Barcelona win this one 4-1. And the tip is going to be Barcelona and both teams to score at odds of 2.2. I think Copenhagen can score. Copenhagen have got nothing to lose. Like, if they lose this game, they're out of the Champions League. If they draw, they might qualify. If they win, they will qualify. So they're going to have to go for goals. They can't rely on a 0-0 smash and grab 1-0 win, especially not against Barcelona with the attacking talent that they have. Barcelona winning 3-0 against Real Oviedo at the weekend. I think Barcelona win this one quite handsomely. After this, we have Bayer Leverkusen up against what can only be described as the disappointment of the Champions League this season, Villarreal. Villarreal doing well in La Liga, but of course losing 2-0 to both Barcelona and Real Madrid has sort of halted any kind of title charge that they were hoping to go on. But Villarreal have been awful in the Champions League. They've got nothing to play for here. It's a nothing game for them. And Bayer Leverkusen, on the other hand, if they win this, they guarantee, obviously, the playoffs and they get a higher spot, a better seeding for the playoff round. I think if Bayer Leverkusen lose, they'll still be fine, probably. But then again, they'll want to get at least a point to try and secure that. So I think Bayer Leverkusen are going to win this one. I'm going to say 2-1. And the tip is Bayer Leverkusen to win at odds of 1.57. After this, it is Benfica up against Real Madrid. Benfica, they've had a poor Champions League season. They need a win if they want a chance to qualify. Real Madrid are all but through to the top 8. I think even a draw more or less guarantees that they finish in the top 8 because their goal difference is so superior and they're already on 15 points. So I think this is going to be a close game. I considered a Benfica plus handicap, but a draw is not good enough. I think if a draw was good enough for Benfica, I'd be tempted to look at a draw. But it's not good enough, and I just think Real Madrid, at the end of the day, are too good and are going to be able to just get over the line. And I'll say 2-1. The tip is over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.5. But like I said, even like a 0-0 draw should probably be enough for Real Madrid to get top 8. So, yeah, I think Real Madrid will be just fine here. After this, it's Borussia Dortmund up against Inter Milan. Dortmund losing to Tottenham and Inter Milan losing to Arsenal really puts a cat amongst the pigeons with regards to where they can finish. Inter Milan were absolutely flying in the Champions League and now they've lost 3 games in a row. They were right up there with Arsenal and Bayern Munich and they've lost 3 games in a row. So honestly, Inter, I mean, with a win, maybe could finish in the top 8, but I doubt it. Dortmund, they won't finish in the top 8 either. They can't really be eliminated or anything like that. So it's kind of a nothing game, but I think it will therefore still be exciting. And I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw. The tip is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.95. The final game before we reach the halfway point of fixtures is Club Brugge up against Marseille. Now, Club Brugge, they got a convincing win against Kairat Almaty. Marseille, they currently sit in 19th place on 9 points. basically qualified. Club Brugge need a win, and if they do win it, I think they will qualify to the knockouts. So you've got to look towards a Club Brugge win here, but I just think this is going to be a high-scoring mental game. I think Club Brugge should probably be the favourites, but I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 3-3. I could see there being so many goals here, so I'm going to go for that 3-3. The tip, therefore, at pretty good odds if there's going to be 6 goals, is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.8. If you are enjoying this video, by the way, real quick, drop a like and subscribe. Remember, as I said, we will be back tomorrow with Europa League predictions. And real quick, flashing up on the screen are everyone that is not only supporting me over on the Patreon, but also therefore entered into the $100 giveaway that I mentioned earlier. If you want a shout out in every single video, entry to the $100 giveaway and other giveaways in the future, access to direct messages to me, the group chats, exclusive members tips and accumulators, and league and predictions. There's so much there on the Patreon. Then click that top link in the description to go over there and get yourself joined up. And like I said, if you've joined before the 1st of February this Sunday, you will be automatically entered in with a chance to win $100 courtesy of the full 90. So be sure to check that out. But now let's move on to the second half of fixtures, and we're kicking off with Eintracht Frankfurt up against Tottenham. Tottenham, could argue a bit of a surprise package for the Champions League, currently 5th in the UCL after struggling in the Premier League, and they're quite fortunate to be playing an Eintracht Frankfurt side who have nothing to play for. Even with a 10-0 win, Frankfurt cannot qualify even to the playoff round. And obviously Tottenham, a draw might be good enough to finish in the top 8, but a win guarantees it. So I actually think Tottenham are going to book themselves a place in the top 8 and straight through to the round of 16. But I think it's just going to be one of those weird games where you expect a lot of goals and the bookies think the same, but it's going to be underwhelming and low scoring because it's really difficult. It's an interesting dynamic, but like I said, Frankfurt have absolutely nothing to play for, and Tottenham aren't exactly at full strength. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Spurs win. The tip is under 3.5 goals at odds of 1.5. Watch the 5-1 come back to bite me there, but I'm going to go for a low-scoring Tottenham win. After this, we stay with the Premier League teams. It's Liverpool up against Qarabag. Now, Qarabag are on 10 points, so they've qualified to the playoffs, basically. And Liverpool are, like Tottenham, they're in the top 8, so a win here guarantees that they get top 8 and move forward to the round of 16. I think it's going to happen. I don't think it'll be fireworks. I just think Liverpool are going to get a professional job done. I think this will be your classic, like Man City beating Wolves at the weekend, a classic 2-0 win. The tip is going to be Liverpool to win and under 4.5 goals at odds of 1.61. Qarabag having a great Champions League season. It'll be interesting to see who they play in the playoffs and everything like that, but a win for Qarabag isn't going to be enough to get them into the top 8, and a loss won't eliminate them either. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a Liverpool 2-0 win. After this, it is Manchester City up against Galatasaray. Now, a win here for Man City will likely take them into the top 8. I'm pretty sure. And Galatasaray, they can't make the top 8. They can't be eliminated. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for Manchester City to get a win and try and push for one of those automatic qualification spots. Maybe swap out with Newcastle. But I think Man City are going to win this one. I think it'll be close because Man City have looked very dodgy and susceptible to losing, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Manchester City win. The tip is Man City and both teams to score at odds of 2.37. I think Galatasaray can score, can trouble Manchester City, but I'll go for a City win. After this, it is Monaco up against Juventus. Monaco, 21st place on 9 points. I think they should have enough to qualify on 9 points, but you never know. And obviously Juventus, they are above them on 12. I don't think they'll be able to make the top 8, but then again, you never know. I just think Juventus are going to win this one. They managed to dispatch of Napoli in the league, 3-0, and I think they're going to go back-to-back wins here. I'm going to say a 2-0 win to Juve, and the tip is Juventus to win at odds of 2.2. I think those odds are really, really good. Obviously, Monaco really do need some point. They need at least a draw here, really, just to kind of guarantee the qualification. But Monaco have been really, really iffy lately in the league. They lost their last Champions League game. I just think Juventus can get the better of them in this game. Now, after this, it is an absolutely massive fixture. It is Napoli up against Chelsea. Now, it's not winner takes all, but winner takes something with regards to both these teams. If Napoli wins this game, they go from being out of the qualification spots and out of the UCL to qualifying for the playoffs. If Chelsea win this game, they finish in the top 8. So this is an absolutely massive game, but I'm going to be honest, I think Napoli are going to get knocked out of the Champions League. I think Conte, he's just not it. He's not doing it in the Champions League. They've got one win in their last 5 Champions League games, and they just don't seem to play very well in the Champions League. And obviously, they're just coming off of that loss that I mentioned against Juventus. So I think it's going to go from bad to worse for Napoli. And I think Chelsea are going to win this one. I'm going to say a 2-1 win. In case it ends in a score draw, the tip is going to be Chelsea double chance and both teams to score at odds of 2.25. But honestly, I think Napoli are just going to have to try and focus on the league as best they can because I don't see them getting through here. After this, we have a really intriguing fixture. It's Pafos up against Slavia Prague. Now, everyone loves an underdog story, and it'd be really cool if the Cypriot side can get a win here and qualify for the playoffs. And they are helped by the fact that Slavia Prague are one of the few teams that have nothing to play for. They've already been eliminated. However, the thing is with Slavia Prague is they were pretty much already eliminated when they had to play Barcelona because they were playing Barcelona, and they still put up a decent fight and scored the 2 goals and took the lead against Barca. So I don't think the fact that Slavia Prague have nothing to play for will necessarily negatively affect them here. And also because of the fact that Pafos, albeit they're overperforming in the Champions League, and I'm saying that with just 1 win, by the way, I don't think they're Champions League level. So I think Slavia Prague, even though it will mean nothing, will be able to get something and take something from Pafos and ultimately eliminate them as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I'd love to see Pafos get the win and qualify, but at the end of the day, if they do that, they're just giving another team in the playoffs an easy tie. That's just the way it is. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. The tip is both teams to score at odds of 1.7. After this, we have probably the biggest game of the round with 2 top 8 teams playing each other. It's PSG up against Newcastle. Newcastle coming off of a loss against Aston Villa at St James's Park for the first time in over 20 years. They did dominate the stats, the possession, the XG, but Villa were clinical and they scored an outrageous goal to make it 2. So Newcastle will be feeling a bit hurt by that, and obviously Newcastle have beaten PSG in recent Champions League history, but that was at St James's Park. And I think at the Parc des Princes, PSG are going to get the win. I think PSG are just too star-studded, too good. They'll have to bounce back from that Sporting loss. It's unfortunate because had PSG beat Sporting, maybe Newcastle will have more of a chance here, but PSG won't want Newcastle to go above them. Even if they draw, PSG stay ahead of Newcastle, but they run the risk of getting leapfrogged by the likes of Chelsea, Barcelona, Man City, Atletico Madrid all at the same time. So they need a win here, PSG. I think they're going to get it. I'm going to say Paris Saint-Germain win 3-1. The tip is PSG to win at odds of 1.53. After this, we have PSV up against Bayern Munich. PSV lurking precariously at the bottom of the playoff spots and qualification there, and 22nd on 8 points. But to be fair, as it stands, I haven't really got many teams sort of overtaking them. I mean, if Bilbao get the point I said they will, and Olympiacos get the point I said they will, then that would put PSV down to 24th. And I do think that's going to happen. If they were playing anyone but Bayern Munich, I think even if the team had already qualified, they might have a chance. But Bayern Munich don't care. They don't care that they've already qualified and you've got it all to play for. They'll play a strong team and they'll probably win. Obviously, Bayern Munich's incredible run in the Bundesliga, the invincible season is over. Obviously, they lost to Arsenal in the Champions League, but now they can't go invincible in the league after losing to Augsburg. 1-0 up at half-time, Bayern, and they lost 2-1. No one, literally no one, saw that coming. And I think Bayern Munich are going to bounce back here. I think it'll be close because obviously, whilst I do think Bayern are going to win, they really don't have anything to play for. They know Arsenal are going to get the point that they need from Kairat to stay top of the leagues. And they know that with a point here, they won't be able to be caught by anyone else. So they're already through. They're already in the top 2. But I'm going to go for a Bayern Munich 2-1 win. And I think the odds are really good for Bayern Munich to win at 1.61. The final game, it is Union Saint-Gilloise up against Atalanta. Now, Atalanta, they're in 13th place. They finally got a resounding win in the Serie A. They beat Parma 4-0. Union Saint-Gilloise, they need a win and then some, really. Their goal difference is terrible. They need a win. They need a lot of results to go their way to qualify. Atalanta, on the other hand, who knows? Maybe they could get top 8 with a win. So I think Atalanta are therefore going to win this one. I'll say a 2-1 win to Atalanta. The tip, however, is going to be both teams to score at odds of 1.57. So if all of my score predictions and results happen, this will be the final Champions League table. Arsenal top with 8 wins out of 8. Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Atalanta all missing out on a top 8 spot on goal difference as Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona and Chelsea sneak in there on their superior goal difference. And then you've got the likes of Club Brugge, Napoli and Copenhagen all missing out on just goal difference alone. Obviously, you change one result, Club Brugge get a win against Marseille, Napoli get a draw against Chelsea, everything changes, so it's all to play for. So that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like, subscribe down below so you don't miss the next video, and I'll see you in that video very soon.